Okay, page 7. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapadakamam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadhaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitam Cha Om Jnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Gurvajita Supurakam Guru Ganaya Shisa Sambhushitam Chintya Chintya Samasta Veda Nipuram Shri Rupa Pantanugam Govindavidam Ujjalam Varatanum Bhaktanvitam Sundaram Vande Vishwagurun Divya Bhagavat Premnohi Bijapradam Devam Divyatanam Suchandra Vadanam Balakachelansitam Sandranandapuram Sadeka Varanam Vairagya Vidyam Buddhim Sri Siddhanta Nidhim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Varam Vandetam Shubhadam Vareka Sharanam Yashishvaram Shridaram Siddhanta Saraswati Vidito Gaudiya Gurvan Vae Vato Bhano Riva Prabhata Gagane Yogavara Sankirtanai Maya Vada Timingilo Daragatan Drita Jivani Man Krishna Prema Siddhati Gahana Sukam Pralapram Tambaje Namo Gauri Kishoraya Bhaktavaduta Murtaye Gaurangri Padma Vrindaya Radhavavi Shevine Vande Bhakti Vinodam Shri Gaura Shakti Swarupakam Bhakti Shastragya Samrajam Radharasa Siddhanidhim Gaura Brajasrita Shashaya Vaishnavaya Vanya Vigraham Jayanatha Prabhum Vande Premadhyam Vrida Vaishnavam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Namo Havanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Nani Gauri Tushe Nama Shaitam Shurito Pangor Mama Manda Matervati Matsaraswapadam Bojo Radha Madanam Mohanor Divya Grindaranya Kalpadumata Shrimad Ratnagar Srinasanasto Shrilandarva Srila Govinda Devo Krishtavi Sevima Smarami Shriman Rasa Rasarubhi Om Shivata Tatashtika Karshadvina Sanai Gopir Gopinata Shri Esuna Brigaya Tulasi Devai Priyai Kesavasya Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavatana Om Namaha Atanatva Mantra Gurun Gurun Bhagavatar Vyasam Virat Gurun Natva Tato Jayam Udhiraye Jaya Saparikara Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharva Govinda Sundara Pada Padmanam Jaya Su Jaya Saparikara Shri Guru Gaura Chandra Giriraj Ju Pada Padmanam Jaya Su Shakara Vaishnava Pade Mora Namaskara Ite Kichu Aparada Nahukara Amara Oichin Hoyven Prabhur Jatu Bhakta Jan Bandana Korinani Sabara Charana Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. And this prayer for Srila Prabhupada is going to be in the new songbook that they're putting together, yes. And also something else which I just forgot now. I forget. Anyway, Nama Om Vishnu Vadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Swami Shri Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupadaya Te Nama Gurvagyam Shri Shri Ditta Shaktavesha Swarupine Hare Krishna Iti Mantrena Paschatya Prashatarane Visvacharya Pavarya Divya Karunya Murtaye Shri Bhagavata Madhurya sorry, Gita Jnana Pradayane Gaura Shri Rupa Siddhanta Saraswati Nishevine Radha Krishna Padambojo Vringaya Gurave Namaha Jai Shri Vandana Ki Jai Shri Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Bhakti Rakshidhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Shri A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Okay. Yes, let's start with, 74. Get this out. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma Pandurui Savadhana Mahe Get some exercise going here. Okay. Shri Guru Vaishnava Mahatmya.
Good job.
The lotus feet of the spiritual master are the abode of pure devotional service. I bow down to those lotus feet with great care and attention. My dear brother, my dear mind, it is through the grace of the spiritual master that we cross over this world.
Make the teachings from the lotus feet of the spiritual master one with your heart. And do not desire anything else. Attachment to the lotus feet of the spiritual master is the best means of spiritual advancement. By his mercy, all desires for spiritual perfection are fulfilled.
He who has given me the gift of transcendental wisdom is my Lord birth after birth. By his mercy, divine knowledge is revealed within the heart, bestowing loving devotion and destroying ignorance. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character.
O spiritual master, ocean of mercy, and friend of the fallen souls, you are the teacher of everyone and the life of all people. O master, be merciful unto me, and give me the shade of your lotus feet. May your glories now be proclaimed throughout the three worlds.
I have surrendered unto your fearless lotus feet. Please give your mercy. O Sri Gurudev, Savior of the fallen, please give me your mercy. You are the Savior of the lowly fallen soul. All glories to you, Sri Gurudev.
Srila Narottam Das Thakur ki jai. Okay. I think we're just going to reading. Is that okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Okay.
fine.
Cool. What did I do?
Sometimes things just happen.
See? Hopefully the chairs ain't gonna fall apart.
Okay. I picked out a reading from Search for Sri Krishna. Students asking about chanting japa.
All right. Great.
You wanna
Yeah, yeah.
go through?
Yeah. I guess we can pass it around. I'll read first here a little bit. Service of the Holy Name. Jai. Search for Sri Krishna ki Jai. Swami B.R. Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Okay. Student. I have one question about chanting the Hare Krishna mantra on beads, Japamala. My spiritual master has given me many preaching duties, so sometimes when I'm trying to concentrate on my Japamala, instead of hearing the holy name, I think of all those different duties I have to do. So I always was. I had this temple when I was, during the time of Prabhupada, I had to run this temple, so I was like, always like, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. It was like really difficult. Okay. Sridhar Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur emphasized that kirtan means not only loudly singing the holy name, but preaching. Jiva Goswami has given a definition of Sankirtan. Bahu bir militva yat kirtanam tat eva Sankirtanam. When many people come together and glorify the Supreme Lord Krishna, it is known as Sankirtan. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and introduced Sankirtan. In this age of Kali, if the holy name is chanted congregationally, the combined effort will be fruitful. Sango Shakti Kalau Yuge. So Sango, come together, Shakti, there's potency, Kalau Yuge in the Kali Yuga. There is no difference between the preaching mission of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur and the so-called bhajan of the Sahajiyas or imitationists. That's controversial. Once, one of our godbrothers was subject to our Guru Maharaj's stern remark. He was a man of good character, but his tendency was generally towards Nama Bhajan. He did not like to do any other service, but was only inclined to chant the name of Krishna on his beads. I was in charge of Delhi Temple at that time and was intimate with him. I wrote to Prabhupada, if you permit, I would like to engage my godbrother in some preaching work here in the Delhi Temple. The letter that Prabhupada wrote is still here. So Guru Maharaj had all these letters from Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, because when Saraswati Thakur was here, Srila Maharaj was actually engaged in like temple management and preaching and stuff like that. So he had to communicate with Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada at that time. And I don't remember, but when at the time Srila Prabhupada, he instructed us we had to write him once a month. So maybe it was something like that. If you can bring him there and make him help you in the work of preaching, then you will be doing the service of a real friend to him. I don't recognize that sitting in the jungle of Balehata, Hati, only chanting counting beads, is Krishnanushilanam, the proper cultivation of Krishna consciousness. He says, I don't recognize that sitting in the jungle of Balehati, only chanting counting beads, is Krishnanushilanam, the proper cultivation of Krishna consciousness. Yeah, there was this kid in the Chicago temple, Pundarik Das. He was a really intelligent kid, and he had like these really like high level parents in Chicago. His father was an editor at Playboy, and his mother was like on the city council or something like that. So they were really well placed. But although they were, kind of high up in ordinary society, they were really happy that he joined Krishna consciousness, because before that he had been knocked himself out with drugs, and Krishna consciousness completely saved him. So they really liked Krishna consciousness, which was, it was really helpful to have like key people in that position. Like we got hassled by the city of Chicago, they could like talk to somebody on the, city council or whatever. So we were, anyway, Krishna arranged it like that, but still we were really fortunate. Preaching means a fight. So kirtan means preaching, shravanam, kirtanam. Kirtan does not simply mean loudly chanting, but preaching. And preaching means there must be a fight with the opposition party. Kirtan means a fight. Kirtan creates the divine vibration which will fight with all the ordinary vibrations that are floating in this world in subtle and gross waves. Guru Maharaj like I guess because he was raised, because he was raised at the time of the, the struggle for Indian independence. He and Srila Prabhupada went to university. It's similar to Guru Maharaj was a year older, but they were in the same university. And by the time Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur came, Srila Sri Maharaj had already finished, but Prabhupada still had a year. And when he got initiated, he asked Saraswati Thakur if he should continue his education. And Saraswati Thakur said, "I will tell you to continue in that slaughterhouse." Prabhupada used to tell us that story. And then, later Prabhupada left the world. I was chanting so many things, and I went back to university. I think, I'll finish university, and I will become a professor and defeat all of them. But of course, it was just too weird in the university. I just couldn't make the compromises that were required. You had to just shut up and go along with the professor. But I couldn't do that, so I, was fighting them constantly in class. It would be the whole class, the professor saying this, and it's me objecting. Saying more, me objecting. And they got really impatient with me. So kirtan means preaching, shravanam, kirtanam. You ever read this? Kirtan does not simply mean loudly chanting, but preaching. Hey, I didn't think you were coming. Dandavat. And preaching means there must be a fight with the opposition party. Oh yeah, I did read. Kirtan means a fight. With all the ordinary vibrations that are floating in this world in subtle and gross waves. That's really kind of important to realize that, when we come into the temple, it's like the temple has some kind of transcendental energy that kind of ejects all the waves that are out there in the mundane world. And our homes can become like that if we, properly pray and worship our gurus and, of course, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And we can be protected from all that, bombardment by mundane, bad energy by just remembering to take shelter of the holy name. And Srila Prabhupada told us this was one of the reasons why he prescribed, and with all of us who were in the temples at that time, he really insisted chant 16 rounds, because if you don't chant 16 rounds, you're going to have a problem with the energies of the material world. Of course, that was a particular, time and space circumstance, but nonetheless, the lesson is there that if we take shelter of the holy name, we won't be so much distracted by the external bombardment of the material energy. Even when we go out and have to go around shopping or whatever, we can just remember the holy name, and Krishna will help us. And as we forget, we'll notice we have a little problem. And then hopefully when that problem enters, we remember Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Like that. Okay. Okay, his minimum advice was that we must do some service in the form of chanting Hare Krishna while counting beads at least once daily. His exact words were, Malika upabasana. The beat should not fast. You know? And his general instruction was to preach as much as possible. Once I had a talk with one of the big spiritual leaders of Udupi Temple in Madras. Udupi was or is, even today, the center of the Madhvacharya line, of which we are connected with. So, Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya means that the inspiration from the early development of our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya had to do with the influence and the blessings of Madhvacharya. Sometimes I preach about Madhvacharya and the Bhakti cult, but I have no time for sadhana, regulated spiritual practices, such as japa, gayatri, mantra, scriptural study, and so on. I supported him. Our Guru Maharaj said that Hari Katha, preaching about Krishna, is no less important than sadhana. Rather, it is a more living thing. Preaching is more vital. When we are preaching, automatically we must have the maximum concentration. On the other hand, while chanting on japa beads, we may be absent-minded. Where are we here? I lost track.
Absent-minded.
Oh, it's mine, okay. When we are speaking about Krishna to another person, we must be all attentive. Otherwise, we cannot speak accurately. All our attention will automatically be concentrated when we talk about Krishna. And in writing about Krishna, accuracy is even more necessary than in speaking about Krishna. So writing is also kirtan. The cultivation of Krishna consciousness may even be more intense when we are engaged in writing about Krishna. Of course, Srila Prabhupada, that was practically his whole life, his main life service. Though he didn't preach to us so much, and he did show so much by example, but most of his time was spent in, speaking on the dictaphone and, translating and assembling the purports for all of his, vast amounts of books. He was fully engaged in kirtan in that way. Gaudiya, the war against Maya. So the preaching mission of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the Gaudiya Math, has declared totalitarian war against Maya, illusion, and even all other existing conceptions of religion. And our authority is Srimad Bhagavatam and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Divine love is the supremost goal of every soul. Beauty and love is the summum bonum, our highest attainment. That is the ultimate controlling principle, not power. So beauty and love is the ultimate, and that is the main principle of control in the world, not power. And beauty and love are found at their highest position in Krishna in Vrindavan. So I think, this kind of perception is possible through the development of spiritual consciousness and spiritual surrender. Otherwise, in the material world, it's always like a struggle, one against the other, this country against that country, this person against that person, this group against that group. There's always a struggle in the material conception of life, one against the other. But as we develop in spiritual life, gradually, we learn and can see practically that we're deeply connected with everybody in this world, and we have a relationship with them. And in order to revive that relationship, we want to try to give them the chance to find Krishna consciousness, which is the the main impetus for our preaching. That as we develop in Krishna consciousness, we feel like this is an amazing thing, this is an amazing thing. And then you see people caught in the material world, and you think, how can I help them? How can I help them? And, we try to focus our lives around that. So preaching Sankirtan and not counting beads, japa, is the real service of Krishna. But because we have taken a vow, and it is ordered by Mahaprabhu and our Gurudev, we must chant the holy name while counting beads. It is our duty. Our Guru Maharaj told us the japa beads must not fast. So if we engage ourselves in preaching work, there should be no doubt that we are really obeying the order of Mahaprabhu. Although he has advised us to chant 100,000 names or 64 rounds daily, that is not a provincial saying. What is really all important is the spirit of service. We are not told that the gopis always count the name on tulsi beads, yet they possess the highest position in the service of Krishna in Vrindavan. So the Vrindavan Express Train. A lot of these, the titles of these sections were done by Goswami Maharaj. Just really brilliant. I mean, he was like so brilliant and so focused. He, along with Vidagdha Madhava, when we lived in the mountains in California, they were up in San Jose, just day in, day out doing this work. Setting down the lectures of Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and then assembling them and selecting different sections, and then putting them together like in a relatively logical order in the book, and then giving not only the titles of the chapters, but also each individual section in the book. So it was amazing service that Goswami Maharaj did for Srila Guru Maharaj, and of course, serving Srila Guru Maharaj after Srila Prabhupada had departed was really the way in which we continued our service to Srila Prabhupada. So, where were we?
You're right at the beginning of the section, express train.
Oh, okay. So Krishna Nama will help us greatly to go towards Vrindavan. Its importance is there. Like an express train, the holy name of Krishna carries us to the goal without stopping at any other station. Yeah. If we are chanting the name without any formal petition, without asking, give me this or give me that, it acts like a special train that will go to Vrindavan non-stop. There, the impurities of karma and jnana are absent. The devotees of Vrindavan simply think, I want Krishna. I do not know what is good or bad. I simply want Krishna. Student, how many rounds did your Guru Maharaj ask his initiated disciples to chant each day? Of course, Guru Maharaj just said that, but did he prescribe any set number? Sridhar Maharaj. His general recommendation was to chant 25,000 names, 16 rounds daily, or at least 4 rounds minimum. When someone had no work, he could chant 100,000 names, or 64 rounds. Student, would Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur give Harinam initiation to someone who could only chant 4 rounds daily? So next section, quality, not quantity. Sridhar Maharaj, there was no such consideration. Formerly, one had to do some counting, but there was no rigid limitation. What he wanted from us was intense engagement in the service of the Lord, under the guidance of a Vaishnava, because the all-important point is service. Our attainment of the goal is not ensured simply by increasing the number of times we repeat the name. Only by increasing the quality will we reach success. So there are so many sayings in the scriptures to encourage our realization of the holy name in different ways. This is really important, that we may chant, but the effectiveness of our chanting is dependent on our consciousness. And our consciousness goes more and more towards spiritual consciousness, Krishna consciousness, by exposing ourselves to the power of Krishna's names. And Krishna's names automatically work internally and help us clear our heart and our minds. And in that way, we're able to chant more clearly, which enables us to more and more perceive how we can more excellently chant the holy names. So the whole thing just builds one after the other, like on itself, which is just, amazing. All you have to do is kind of like push into it, and you get onto like Guru Maharaj would say, an express train. There are so many sayings in the scriptures to encourage our realization of the holy name in different ways. But Srila Rupa Goswami has given us a central thought. He quotes the Padma Purana, Atat Shri Krishna Namadi Navavedrayam Indriyai. Our senses, physical or mental, are intelligible to come in touch with the transcendental. The name is non-material, aprakrita, without mundane limitation, Vaikuntha. It belongs to another plane. So nothing about Krishna, his name, form, qualities, or pastimes can be touched by our physical or mental senses. But when we have a serving attitude, he comes down to us of his own accord. Only then can our tongue really pronounce the name of Krishna. Otherwise, only the physical sound of the letters of the name can be pronounced. So, otherwise, only the physical sound of the letters of the name can be pronounced. So the whole thing is making contact with Krishna himself through the development of proper consciousness, through developing and rendering, developing a serving attitude and rendering devotional service. Then we're able to clear our minds and hearts and gradually be able to really chant Krishna's name. Otherwise, someone who says Krishna's names, Prabhupada did tell us, anybody who says Krishna's name will get some benefit. But, we can understand from Srila Sri Maharaj here that the benefit is going to come according to one's proportionate development in understanding, in realizing the nature of Krishna's name, which is developed through serving attitude and rendering service.
But that's like the key of that shloka that Rupa Goswami, it's in Bhakti Rasamrita Sudha. Shri Krishna Namadi Nabhaved Grahim Indriya. Indriya means your senses. Your senses can't actually touch the name of Krishna. But Sevan Mukhe Hijivada. Sevan Mukha means if you can speak this in a mood of service. The service mood is everything. And then Swayameva Sparati, and the real truth will become apparent.
Okay, I'll just read a little more and then I'll pass it around. Our senses, physical or mental, are ineligible to come in touch with the transcendental. The name is non-material, aprakrita, without mundane limitation, Vaikuntha. It belongs to another plane. So nothing about Krishna, his name, form, qualities, or pastimes can be touched by our physical or mental senses. But when we have a serving attitude, he comes down to us of his own accord. Only then can our tongue really pronounce the names of Krishna. Otherwise, only the physical sound of letters of the name can be produced. Our tongue, our hands, physical sound, all these mundane things cannot come in touch with Krishna. Some intervening medium is necessary to connect this body with the supermundane. And that connection is our earnest desire to serve Krishna, to satisfy him. A bulb won't light if there's no electricity. Only when the electrical current is there will the bulb be illumined. So the name may appear on the tongue and in the ear, in the mind, or in writing, but we must have the connection from Vaikuntha to this mundane world. And that connection is devotional service, a functional serving attitude. That alone can connect the physical realm with Vaikuntha and Vrindavan. So yeah, this is, it's just being reiterated that this rendering of devotional service brings about our connection with the name, and our taking shelter of the name brings about a change in our consciousness, which enables us to gradually be elevated to the plane of real spiritual life, where we're there with other spiritual people who are all serving together in different ways in this amazing world of Vrindavan. Hopefully that's where we'll all go. Okay. You want to read from? Oh, where are we? Oh, firing blank mantras.
Firing blank mantras. Krishna will appear of his own accord. He will descend upon your tongue, and then your tongue will be able to chant the name of Krishna. A gun that has no bullet, but only a blank, may make some sound, but no bullet is actually fired. Similarly, chanting the name of Krishna without an attitude of service produces sound, but that is only tongue deep. It is like firing a gun with blanks instead of bullets. Our chanting of the holy name of Krishna must be surcharged with a serving temperament, the tendency to satisfy Krishna. Otherwise, the sound we produce is bogus. It is only an imitation or a permutation. The holy name cannot be experienced by our senses. It is supramental and transcendental.
I remember that I think it was Srila Prabhupada's time, that the question came what should we think of while we're chanting the holy names? And he said, you think of the names, but if you can, think of, oh Krishna, please engage me in your service. Please engage me in your service. It was really a sweet and wonderful thing to have that, that prayer to be in a constant position of active subordination and practical, functional service. It's just such a blessing that we're here in this world. We have mind, intellect, and senses, but because of the blessings of our gurus, we have a chance to engage those things in a higher activity, and to at least attempt to serve Krishna. And in that little attempt, there's some beginning connection that comes, because Krishna, he doesn't ignore us. If we call out to him, he knows we're doing that, and he can he can gauge what is the quality of that calling out, and kind of based on that, Krishna reciprocates with us in different ways. But the reciprocation begins from the first time someone chants his name. From the first time, even someone walks in the temple and bows down, there's a connection that's established, and we learn that connection is something that's never lost. So we bring a person in the temple and they bow down and they say Krishna's name. Whether it's in this lifetime or next lifetime, they'll come to the point again where they'll again have the chance to say Krishna's names, maybe see Krishna in the temple. It's like we're carrying the most amazing gift that can be given to people, really. And as we preach and talk about these things, we kind of help to remind each other how valuable it is, those things that have been given to us. And, you know, remembering and understanding more and more the value of this, then more and more we begin to think, oh, this is such a wonderful thing. How can I organize things according to my capacity? Everyone's got different capacities. It may be someone's an expert pujari. So in that mood of rendering service to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in that mood, there's connection with the service. By making the deity very beautiful, then a person who comes in will think, oh, how beautiful, how amazing. I remember a while, like maybe a year ago or so, there was this lady who was coming every Sunday. And finally, I talked to her after a few times, I guess. And I said, well, why are you coming? She said, I don't care to hear anything here. I just come to see the beautiful colors. I thought, okay. Yeah, that was really cool.
An ordinary sound of this mundane world cannot be the name of Krishna. Our ear cannot even hear the name of that mediator. If that mediator, the serving attitude, is not there, the earnestness to satisfy Krishna's will must mediate between Krishna and the ear, through the mind. Then only will Krishna's name enter our ear and reveal to us his form, qualities, and pastimes. The holy name is not physical, it is a prakrita, transcendental, supramundane. Only through our service attitude will it come down to this mundane world. Our Guru Maharaj laid the highest stress on developing a serving attitude. Otherwise, it is all bogus, all imitation. And people will say, oh, there is no Krishna there. These men are hypocrites. They are only dancing and making noise. They are not surcharged with a serving spirit. Only through service can we directly come in contact with Krishna. The real point is to practice how to attain the spirit of service. Vaishnava Seva. The Vaishnava is doing service, and we must imbibe from him the methods of attaining this serving attitude. Under the order of a devotee, we must practice to give ourselves. Self-abnegation and self-dedication are necessary. And that positive thing we will receive from a devotee. If children are given pen and paper in the beginning, it will not be fruitful. So a stone is given, and on the earth they practice writing. So in the beginning, we must try to practice how we can develop a serving attitude, dedicating habit. It is our innate wealth, and that is our solace. If we try to develop a serving attitude, the pure devotee will help us. It is said that if one is miserly, he should at least give some trash in charity to anyone. One says to a miser, at least give some ash to others, and let your hand practice giving. So the serving spirit is a high thing. We must practice to give ourselves in the service of Krishna. We must not be afraid that we are not attaining the highest form of service in Nama Bhajan, the worship of the holy name. We should not think, why have I been asked to sweep the temple? Any ordinary man can do this. We must not be afraid of that. It is necessary for us to acquire a serving attitude. Self-giving, selflessness, and self-forgetfulness are required. It is said that Socrates is an example of self-forgetfulness, and Jesus Christ is an example of self-sacrifice. And for what purpose? For the cause of the Supreme. And for that, we must have a positive connection with a devotee. Under his order, we will connect with the plane of service. Our energy may go to the transcendental plane only by his grace or mediation. So, our Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, laid 90% stress on developing a serving attitude. That should be our aim, whatever our position may be. I like the line where he says, we must not be afraid that we are not attaining the highest form of service in Nama Bhajan. And I like that's an answer to the devotee's question in the beginning. Is like, my mind is wandering. It's instruction to just say, keep going, and let that be your service. Like if you can't attain to the highest form of chanting, then let your service be to continue through that. That's the end of the chapter.
Okay. Because CD, we'll do the next one.
Great chapter.
Critical.
Nectar of the Holy Name. Not only the sound of the holy name of Krishna is necessary, but also the proper meaning, the substance, the spirit of the sound. Only the physical aspect of the holy name is represented in Nam Aparad, offensive chanting, not the real name. The real name is all spiritual. Namaskar Bhairayai Bahiraya Bhate Tabunama Kabunaya. The sound of the letters of the name alone is never the real name. This is explained in the Prema Vivarta of Jagadananda Pandit, a book which is full of the philosophical conclusions of Krishna consciousness. It was published and edited by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. There you will find this passage, Namaskar Bahiraya Bhate Tabunam Kabunaya. Merely the sound of the holy name of Krishna should never be thought of as the actual name. Even in Nampas, the twilight dawning of the holy name, which occurs before pure offenseless chanting, the sound of the name is there, but the inner substance of the name is not there. Namabhas can give us mukti, or emancipation from the negative side, the material world. But there we cannot trace participation in the positive side, the spiritual world. The name is absent there. The holy name of Krishna is a positive thing, and if we really want a touch of the holy name, we must gain admission into the positive world. When we are in the negative side, how can we get the touch of the name? Nambas may give us liberation, but not participation in the devotional realm. So, the real name is not to be found in Nambas either. Jewels of the Vedas. Only a particular group of liberated souls worship the holy name, not everyone. Srila Rupa Goswami has written in his Namastakam, Nikhila Shrutimali Ratnamala Duti Nirajita Parapankajanta Ai Mukta Kuler Upashyamanam Paritas Tvam Harinama Samshrayami. O holy name, the tips of the toes of your lotus feet are eternally worshipped by the glowing effulgence radiating from the gemmed chapters of you. Let me read that again. The tips of the toes of your lotus feet are eternally worshipped by the glowing effulgence radiating from the gemmed chapters of the Upanishads, the crest jewels of the Vedas. You are eternally, holy name, you are eternally adored and chanted by great liberated souls like Narada and Sukadeva Goswami. O Harinam, clearing myself of all offenses, I take complete shelter of you. Rupa Goswami says that so many liberated souls worship the holy name of Krishna. offering their respects from all sides.
I think it's important to understand about Nama Bas and the pure chanting of the holy name, and how it is that, in spite of the fact we're all chanting this Nama Bas, this imperfect recitation of Krishna's name, still and only by the grace of our gurus, the great souls who carry Krishna in their hearts, that only in that way can we come in touch with Krishna. Otherwise, ordinary people, without making connection with our devotional line of gurus through sincere chanting and rendering service, their recitation of Krishna's names will have, only the benefit of their chanting will be very much limited because of of it not coming in contact with the pure name as it descends. In other words, in order to receive the descent of the holy name, you have to have connection with someone who has that connection with the name above and who can give you that connection. Otherwise, it's not possible. So we're chanting Nama Bas, for some time, a long time maybe, lifetimes, who knows. But eventually we'll come to the chanting of the pure names, and that progression through, a decreasing amount of actual Nama Bas, by the grace of these great souls who come to implant in our hearts the real experience of the name, and the currency through which we can increasingly generate the revelation of the holy name. The currency, the transactional element, is service. We try to serve, and as best we can, without thinking, oh, if I do this, then I'll get that. But rather, my eternal nature is that I'm Krishna's servant. So let me just try to remember that and be in my position as a servant as I go through my life, more and more trying to make devotional service the central point and objective in my life. Did I finish that thought? I kind of got lost.
That was good. Rupa Goswami says that so many liberated souls worship the holy name of Krishna, offering their respects from all sides. He explains that the greatness of the holy name may not be found in the ordinary scriptures, but if you study all of them as a whole, you will find the very spirit of the holy name. I'm just going to read that little part again. He explains that the greatness of the holy name may not be found in the ordinary scriptures, but if you study all of them as a whole, you will find the very spirit of the holy name. Ordinary people may not find this in their study, but there are those who can collect the real substance, the real purpose from those vast writings, and detect the greatness of the holy name as the whole purpose of all the main Vedic scriptures.
I remember when I first started to drive around Salt Lake City. I was going over to State Street, and somehow or other I'm driving by this church, and it says Church of the Holy Name. Mm-hmm. I think, oh, that's pretty cool. Because they understand that, and the degree to which, but unfortunately the degree to which they're able to actually access that is limited. There may be some Catholic monks or even some regular Catholics, who have experienced the power of, God's names, whether it's Yahweh, Jehovah, Adonai, I guess that's the Christian one, and then Allah, I think that's the only Islamic one. Anyway, it's kind of understood that there's power of the name, not just theoretical, but by some experience of people in different cultures, different religions, different places in the world. They all have, or many have, experienced the connection that's possible through, saying God's names, Krishna's names. And of course, we're lucky because, rather than receiving a hazy conception of God, he's the Supreme, he's up there somewhere, and we don't know really if it's just a big giant energy or if there's a person. And some are more focused that there's a person, and others are, it's all just energy. I've met different Christians who have different ideas. And some think that Jesus is God, or think that Jesus was a great disciple of God. There's various, over time there's always various interpretations that, they just develop because things, the purity of a teaching comes when there's a great realized soul giving that teaching, and then people try to understand what that teaching is, but they kind of forget that really in order to understand that teaching, you have to begin to live your life in line with that teaching and according to the direction of the great soul. Then you'll be able to understand the teaching. You can't just memorize it or read it once a week or 3 times a week or something like that. You have to be able to devote your life in that direction. And really the only way we're able to do it, being stuck in the middle of the material ocean, is that we gain understanding of how to act and how to direct our life in written and spoken instruction, and also as a result of trying to follow those internal realization and a sense of life being transformed by that connection with the great souls who are able to connect with our hearts. From their heart to our hearts, we get their blessing.
The principal codes in the Shruti, the Vedas, are giving hints about the holy name of Krishna. Shruti means Shabda, that which can be grasped by the ear, the sound form of the revealed truth, which is descended from above. The Vedas naturally tell us that we can approach the supreme reality only through sound. Otherwise, they would be suicidal. If they do not say that by sound only we will attain the truth, then what is the necessity of the Vedas, which are only embodied sounds? So if we can trace their real characteristic, we shall find that the principal Vedas say that by the cultivation of sound we can attain the Lord. So we can come to understand this only through sound. Shabda pramanam. Sound alone can deliver reality. The Vedas must say so, otherwise they will only be an ineffective jungle of sounds. Shruti means that which can be received through the ear, that sound which is absolute. The Shrutis have come to declare to us that through sound alone we can attain the highest end. The main codes, sutras of the Shruti inform us Nikhila Shruti Mauli Ratnamala. This is the verse of the first
Mauli means the principal scriptures. They are like so many gems or jewels forming a necklace. By their luster, the lotus feet of the holy name are being revealed. Just as while performing arati, we offer a lamp to show the deity form of the Lord more clearly to the ordinary people. The principal shrutis are helping us to have this perception. By sound only we can have the Supreme Lord. Rupa Goswami says that if we are more attentive to their meaning, we will find that the principal shrutis are only trying to show us the lotus feet of the holy name. Just as during Arati, the ghee lamp helps us to see the figure of the Lord.
They're showing us the what of the holy name?
Lotus feet.
Oh, okay.
We may have a general view of the deity, but with the help of the lamp we can have a particular conception of the different parts of the body of the Lord. Similarly, we find that the principal shrutis with their light are trying to show us the lower portion of the holy name of Krishna. They are leading us and helping us to have a conception of the remotest part of the holy name, a vague conception that the name is everything. Rupa Goswami says that those who are really liberated are all surrounding the holy name and offering praise and adoration. And he prays, "In this spirit I take refuge in the holy name of Krishna." The real meaning of the Vedas is difficult to understand. Some people will say chanting Hare Krishna is not recommended in the Vedas. Rather, sometimes Krishna is mentioned as the name of a demon. Why should we chant the name of Krishna? In the Vedas, Chandogya Upanishad, we find this verse, Shamach Chavalam Prabhadye, Shavalach Chayam Prabhadye. By the help of the black, Shama, we shall be introduced to the service of the white, Shavala. By the help of the white, Shavala, we shall be introduced to the service of the black, Shama.
What's that? The white is Shavala?
Yeah.
Huh.
Shavala.
Shavala. Okay.
What is the meaning of this verse? Our acharyas have explained that the absolute can be understood by the help of the energy and the energetic. This is so profound.
I remember when we were preaching in Chicago, we would go to the south side sometimes, which is like all black, go door to door and tell them, God is black. They go, oh, really? Come to our temple.
Shama means Krishna, who is blackish, and Shavala, white, means Radharani. So by the help of Radha, we can have the service of Krishna, and by the help of Krishna, we can have the service of Radharani. So Rupa Goswami says that only a superficial study of the Vedas will frustrate us. But if we search with a positive mind, by the grace of the sadhus, the acharyas, and the mahajans, we will find that the principal shrutis are leading us towards the conception that the whole object of all the Vedic sounds is that central sound, the holy name of Krishna. There are so many sections of the Vedas that have come to distribute the tidings of that absolute realm, but there must be a center. So the principal sounds are all emitting light like a torch to show us that they have a central sound, which represents the supreme whole, and that is Krishna. So many liberated souls are all around offering their respects. Sorry, this is a really long section. Offering their respects to the name of Krishna, that central sound from which all Vedic mantras have come to give us some idea of the sound aspect of the absolute center. This is Rupa Goswami's argument. The branches of the Vedas are all sounds, and so many sounds must come from a central position. They cannot but direct one who has a proper eye towards that fountainhead of sound, saying, go, run in that direction. In our source you will find everything. We are all partially representing so many things, but we have a center, we have a fountainhead. Go in that direction and you will find the sound that can sufficiently satisfy you.
and you may also be introduced to other aspects of that sound. The holy name of Krishna is most important. It is no less than Krishna himself. It fully represents the whole. Rupa Goswami says, O holy name, I take refuge under your lotus feet. You are the grand central sound who has given cohesion to all the sounds in the revealed scriptures. So from a jungle of sounds to a cohesive sound. And that's one of Guru Maharaj's definition of Vijnana, actual realization. It means suddenly you see the structure of everything, it's all cohesive.
There's a jnana.
Jnana means knowledge, but that can be scattered. Vijnana means systematic knowledge. And all of a sudden you understand a cohesion, a coherent reality. And Sanatana Goswami, who is the spiritual master of Rupa Goswami, says, Jayati Jayati Namananda Rupam Murarir Viramita Nija Dharma Dhyana Puja Yatnam Kathamapi Sakridatam Muktidam Praninam Yat Paramamritamekam Jivanam Bhushanam Me. And Gurudev used to say this verse. Jayati Jayati Namananda Rupam Murare Viramita Nija Dharma Dhyana Puja Niyatnam Kathamapi Sakridatam Muktidam Praninam Yat Paramamritamekam Jivanam Bhushanam Me. Sanatana Goswami, very beautiful compositions. Let ecstasy in the service of the divine name be victorious. If somehow we can come in contact with that sound, Nama Rupam Murare, then all our other activities will be paralyzed. We will have no necessity of performing any other activity. Our many variegated duties will have no importance to us at all if we can achieve the service of the divine name of Krishna. Dharma means the business engagement of the karmis or fruitive workers. Dhyana means retiring from this physical world and performing meditation from within, trying to exploit the internal world. Both of these are stopped, Dharma and Dhyana, paralyzed by the ecstasy of service to the divine name.
I just think of it when Guru Maharaj said paralyzed, I'm thinking how, Guru Maharaj knew, learned English at university, learned very well, but the way in which he presents things is way beyond the language of a university professor even, because he knows he knows the absolute, and he knows the context within which words can be used to express the path towards the absolute and also the absolute. So he sees language in a different way than we do. He sees it in terms of service and how to utilize those words for service. And we just kind of put our words together while we're speaking or talking about our realizations and stuff. But if we think about someone like Srila Sriram Maharaj, they're doing something that's wholly above whatever we're doing. They perceive things in a much, much deeper way and can understand through that depth of perception how to put language together in such a way as to express Krishna consciousness in a very, in a very clear yet powerful way. I think that, even here we are, reading Srila Sriram Maharaj, devotees for some time, but still not pure devotees or anything. But nonetheless, when we read even the words and that what Srila Sriram Maharaj has given, things come through that otherwise are not accessible. But it's like Srila Sriram Maharaj is a realized soul, and he's not really presenting it, but he's pulling us into it, something like that.
Yeah, it's a very beautiful word that he's saying, because this verse is ultimately saying, and Gurmaj will explain it, but this verse is saying, when the name actually comes into your heart, it will take you. So it's paralyzing all these other functions. You might have all this dharma that you're doing, you might be doing this meditation, you may be doing puja, you may be doing some opulent worship of Lakshmi Narayan, you may be doing yoga, you may be doing all these things. And all of these things will just be like stopped. And you would be pulled into that higher realm, that realm of the deepest, most profound and automatic service for your soul. So dhyana, generally a good thing in meditation. Dharma means religious, ethical activity, paralyzed. The Ramanuja sect worships Lakshmi Narayana in the mood of opulence and veneration in Vaikuntha. So that means you even worship of the Lord, but in a mood of awe, in a mood of separation where you're like, wow, you're amazing and powerful. That will be paralyzed. By the ecstasy of the holy name, that will also be stopped. One who gets the real grace of the divine name of Krishna will retire from all phases of these different kinds of worship, namely varnashrama dharma, or your social duties. So you have some duty to society. Dhyana, the internal meditation of the jnanis and the yogis. Puja, opulent worship of Vaikuntha. After liberation, which attracts the followers of the Ramanuja Sampradaya. The holy name will take us to the perception of Goloka, Krishna's own abode, where we will have to completely retire from all these other phases of our divine life. And it's like these other phases of your divine life.
Yeah, right. Did you say divine?
Unbelievable. It's like that's like one of the meanings of the express train. Is you're going through so many layers of consciousness, even other types of relationship with the Lord, you're passing those stops. We will have to retire from any work, even if it may be done for Krishna. We will have to give up internal meditation and calculation and even puja, worship in awe and reverence. The holy name will stop all these tendencies, and we will find so much sweetness in chanting the name that we won't be able to give attention to anything else. When we really come in contact with the sound aspect of the Absolute, then all our other enthusiastic endeavors and functions will be paralyzed. We will be unable to attempt them. We will take to the name only. Then, when the name allows us to perform other services again, we will be able to do them. The name has such power, such a high degree of potency, that it will stop all other branches of service and charm you.
I want millions of years.
I want millions of years. In the writings of Rupa Goswami, we find this verse. Tumde Dandavani Rathim Vitanute Tumdambali Labadaye Karna Kroda Kadambini Gada Yate Karna Budevya Spiham Siddha Prangana Sangini Vijayate Sarvendri Janam Kirtim No Jane Janita Hiyabrir Amir Thai Krishneti Varna Divyayi. When the holy name of Krishna descends and captures the tongue and lips, it controls them so strongly that it engages them in chanting the holy name as if the lips and tongue have gone mad. In this way, the power of the name descends in them, and one feels that only one tongue and one mouth are not enough. Thousands of mouths are necessary to taste the name. Then the holy name of Krishna enters the ear with such a great force and current that the ears are captured. and one thinks that only 2 years are insufficient. He wants millions of years to attend to the sweet current of entering the years. 2 years are nothing to him. He wants millions of years. The nectar of the holy name is coming like flood through his ears, pushing its way within the heart. It is so sweet that as it goes to capture the heart, the center of all the senses, everything is paralyzed. Wherever that sweet aggressor touches, the whole thing is captured with such intensity that everything else is ignored. Rupa Goswami writes, I don't know, I can't say. I fail to express how much nectar there is in the holy name of Krishna. These 2 syllables contain so much sweetness and such a high quality of sweetness. And this sweetness is so aggressive that it captures everything. This verse is found in the Vidagdha Madhava written by Srila Rupa Goswami. Was that correct?
Vidagdha Madhava. That's who Maharaj was saying. Vidagdha Madhava was making these books with Goswami, the Guru Maharaj named him Vidagdha Madhava.
This verse is found in the Vidagdha Madhava written by Srila Rupa Goswami. In his book, Sharanagati, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has explained the Namashtaka, 8 prayers in glorification of the holy name, written by Rupa Goswami. The whole thing is described there very beautifully. He writes, my heart is just like a desert, hot with the rays of the sun. This is my internal mental condition. The desire for mortal things cannot satisfy me, because by nature they are death producing. And not 1 or 2, but thousands of such death producing desires have taken shelter in my mind. So, my subconscious region is always burning. This is my condition. But somehow, by the grace of the Sadhu and Guru, the holy name of Krishna, with its infinite prospect, has entered through the holes of my ears and reached the plane of my heart. And there, with some peculiar hope, with infinite, auspicious possibilities, it touched my heart with a new kind of nectar.
Awesome.
Ecstasy of the name. New hope is aroused by that sound. Then by force, it comes from the heart towards the tongue. Not that by the endeavor of my tongue I am producing that sound, no. What came from the heart of a saint through my ear entered my heart, and that forcibly appeared upon my tongue and began to dance. That is the holy name proper. It descends from above. It cannot be produced by the material form of this tongue.
Can I just mention something here? And I know Maharaj is very familiar with this. Whenever Srila Gurudev would give initiation, he's mentioning what Prabhupada would say, which is very beautiful. Krishna engagement in your service. Gurudev would very often say, you can pray to Krishna, come and dance on my tongue. Like Guru Maharaj is saying there.
What came from the heart of a saint through my ear entered my heart, and that forcibly appeared upon my tongue and began to dance. That is the holy name proper. It descends from above. It cannot be produced by the material form of this tongue. Its source is above. And through an agent of the Absolute, it comes through the ear to the heart. From the heart, it gathers some sympathy. Then the holy name of Krishna forcibly appears upon the tongue and begins to dance. With great force, it comes to the end of the tongue, and that sweet sound begins its dancing. The real effects of the divine name have been described here. If it is a living and real name, the voice will be chopped up. There will be shivering in the body, and the legs will be unable to stand. Sometimes tears will flow in the current of the body, and one's hairs will stand on end. Sometimes changes of color will be found in the body, and we will be unable to find any trace of the mind or consciousness. We may fall in a swoon. The whole body and mind will appear as if it is being attacked, shivering and influenced in different ways. Apparently, it may seem that so many troubles are created in the body and the mind. But the real heart is overflowing with a particular kind of strange, sweet juice.
I think Srila Srila Maharaj is like, it's okay. Srila Srila Maharaj is I don't know what the word is. He's so like graphic in the way he presents things. Prabhupada was almost totally philosophical, sometimes a little graphic, but Srila Srila Maharaj, dancing on the tongue, all these different things that have to do with a kind of vision that he's conveying to us. Within that, the vision that he's conveying to us, there's also an increasing understanding of what he's really saying. Because Krishna consciousness is way beyond like just a philosophy. Krishna consciousness is living. And particularly, I think in Srila Srila Maharaj, he makes that really apparent, by giving so many different, like, living examples of how Krishna consciousness applies to us right here, right now. It's just an amazing thing.
And I think religion of the heart, Srila Gurudev says that Srila Sridhar Maharaj brings out the inner ecstasy of words.
Aha! Wow, that's really beautiful.
Remind me of that.
I forgot about that, yeah.
That's really nice.
Wow.
And how you hear his preaching is like meant for the English language.
The religion of the heart was made by Siddhartha Maharaj.
Siddhartha Maharaj, wow.
Who's that Siddhartha Maharaj?
He was a brahmachari, pretty much lifelong brahmachari,
He
actually.
was Chidananda Das, who joined like in San Francisco in like 1966 or something like that.
He's like 6'6", like this big giant guy. He used to like basically survive on mangoes. Mostly what he ate was mangoes. He's a very interesting guy.
So dedicated. I remember when they were sitting in the I think it was maybe Navadvip. Anyway, we're sitting in the room with no, it was Vrindavan. Or maybe Govardhan. Anyway, we're sitting in the room with Srila Gurudev. All of us are there, and I'm looking around, and I said, "Well, where's Siddhartha Maharaj?" And this guy says to me, "He's up on the roof, pouring water on the roof to make it cooler for Srila Gurudev." I thought, "Oh my God, what?" Here we are, we're all sitting there listening and hearing, and wow, it's really hot. And then he's thinking, oh, it's too hot for Gurudev, I have to go do something. That kind of person. Even though externally he was very like simple, not very like eloquent or anything, but with a kind of a really, deep, heartfelt realization. It was just really like wonderful to see. I think I got to take off. I got a really bad headache.
Yeah, Marsh, I think 8:15 is good anyway. The next chapter, the next section, if you can believe it, is called the Ocean of Nectar. Even after we just heard it. So, Hare Krishna. I don't know how much time there's like 4 pages left in this, so maybe we can remember where we are. Ocean Nectar of the whole name, Ocean of Nectar. Hare Krishna.
Jai Vishnu Shri Bhakti Rakshak Shri Radhe Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai.
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 Jai Vishnu Shri Bhakti Sundari Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Om Vishnu Shri Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Shri Bhakti Bhagavad Nyasi Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
All the devotees listening to Shri Krishna Ki Jai. And let's remember Shri Bhakti Sri Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Siddhanta Maharaj Ki Jai. Mahayogi Swami Ki Jai. All the incense devotees Ki Jai.
Jai.
Go Hari Hari.
Hari.